clearly I was lucky. I had a musical gift, and it was recognised. And I took up the piano very early on. Actually, I was 5 years old. I started the piano.
Did it take you, or did you take it?
It took me, because I noticed you got some lovely bookcases here. I used to play the bookcase, and I was good at the bookcase, actually. So I would sit in front of the bookcase and play tunes, songs, pieces. Furores of Beethoven was a big favourite. I could play it note perfect on the bookcase.
And the bookcase smiled.
It did. It did. And so my parents bought a piano, and they didn't have much money, so they bought a really terrible out of tune piano. But I played this thing and loved it, and I had piano lessons. And the director, the guy who taught me piano, was conductor of the church choir in the town where I lived. And actually, my best friend, his eldest brother, was Andrew Davis, Andrew Davis, the conductor. And again, he was still at school, and he was assistant organist at the church. And so it was a musical church, but so I got involved in that church. And then the vicar said to my parents, you know, your son's clearly quite musical, you know, you should send him to choir school. Well, my mum and dad thought, you know, what's choir school? And so they did, and I went up to audition at King's College, Cambridge, and I got in. And it was so strange, because from that moment on, it was that thing where you think, actually, I recognised I was in a world that I thought, I know this world already. You know, you kind of think, this is the world where I want to be. And
you're 6 years old.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a few years later, Benjamin Britten came to our school, and because we were going to sing the Spring Symphony and the War Requiem and the boys' choir part in that, and we did that. And I can remember singing that, not being able to sing because I was crying, and I thought, I don't know what this is, but I've got to do it. You know, that was that. You know, and then you think all the things that happen afterwards happen as a result of that. I can remember going up, you know, we lived on the edge of London, and I used to go up to London on the underground train from where we lived, and my sister and I would go up on the train to concerts at the Royal Festival Hall or whatever, and we would see people that we just thought were idols, you know, these great musicians. You know, I heard all sorts of people. Endless list of people. It was, you know, London was an amazing place for artists, and I remember my sister saying to me when we heard a great singer, you know, do you think you could do that? No, I couldn't do that. And then you'd hear a new piece, because, you know, in the 70s, which was probably what it was then, new music was very, very active in London. And you'd hear a piece and you'd think, my sister said, do you think you could do that? And I'd say, no, not a chance. I couldn't envisage myself being at that level, you know. And then you work.
But there are those who say you need that vision. You need to be seeing something farther out,
well,
something to which one can aspire.
You do, because in a sense, you look at it and think, I don't know what that is, but I've got to try and do it. And you draw yourself into that kind of world, or it draws you in. Actually, there's no other option. It draws you in yourself. So you think, well, this is the only world that I know.
Was that your sister's experience too?
Well, no, not really, because she's incredibly musical. She's 3 years older than me. She's very, very musical and sings in a choir, but she didn't have the opportunities that I had. No opportunities for women, of course, which of course there are now. But for boys and men, it was easy. If you had, you know, in England, you could be a chorister or so. For a girl, you were, no.
Boys' choirs, well, of course, but girls' choirs.
No, but of course that's all changed now. And we have wonderful girls' choirs at practically every cathedral in Britain. And I'll tell you, the standard of the singing of young women in our country is absolutely outstanding.